PitchGrounders, what's up? How's everyone doing? Today we are launching Flows. This is the launch webinar of Flows, and from now on, get ready to change your online meetings forever because we're going to show you how you can productivize. Get more productivity out of your regular online meetings. So if you're tired of unproductive meetings, just like us, just like every other remote company out there, then you are at the right place because today we are live with the founder of Flows, Mr. Vaiko Hansson, and he's going to show us the demo of this product, and he also has a presentation prepared for us today. So I'm from India. Let's talk to Vaiko Hansson. Mr. Vaiko Hansson, how's everything going?
It's going really great. Thank you. Feeling really
So
good,
where are you
really
from?
excited. Where am I from? I'm from Estonia. It's in Europe.
Estonia.
Yeah.
I guess Estonia is like the center of the planet.
Yeah, almost.
Oh.
They call it the
Awesome.
second Silicon Valley these days.
Ah, interesting. So, guys, I'm from India. Vaiko is from Estonia. Where are you watching this from? Comment down below and let's see where the community is watching this from. So we are receiving comments and people are saying some are from India. That's awesome. Hi. And people are joining in from various places. So we have almost 15 people on the live right now. And that's awesome. So yes, India, one more. Awesome. So So guys, why are you tuning this today's webinar? That's simply because we are launching Flows on a limited lifetime deal. And what does Flows do? We're going to ask Mr. Vaiko Hansson himself to tell us more about this product and like how did it go on. So, yep. Can you tell us like how, how we got started with Flows, and like is this an idea that came out of like a coffee shop while while you wrote it on a, what do you call,
Napkin.
napkin? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you tell us
Well,
more about it?
actually, no. I'm. I have been a business mentor and a coach for like years, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of different meetings, and in that sense, the product started already years ago. But the actual product that we're launching today, the platform, started about 7 or 8 months ago, and yeah, the deeper why, I guess, is since both me and my partner, we are very passionate about human development, both intellectual and spiritual. And we've seen that the most development happens when people actually collaborate together and interact with each other. And at the same time, I, as a business mentor, I see so much waste in that. You probably experienced these kind of meetings before, where people come together and just like it goes really crazy, and you'll feel really wasted at the end. So a lot of potential missing there. And so the idea came, and then we started building it, and we are here. That's
Awesome.
the
So how big
quick
is
summary.
the how big is the team of Flows?
The founder team is me and my partner, two of us. And then we have about 3 or 4 people who are on and off, helping with different things, keeping the team right now quite nimble. So when something is needed to be done, people join, and when it's like a project-based thing. And since we have a couple of other products as well, so we work around our things in team-wise. Awesome. Yeah.
And so whole team is based out of Estonia itself.
Yeah, but still remotely, because even though Estonia is very small, we still are in different places. So yeah.
Awesome. And PitchGrounders, looks like people have been waiting for today's presentation. So Vaiko, what do we have for today? What can users expect out of today's webinar?
It is in 2 parts. First, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the background. You all know that meetings can be good or bad, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about my experience and what exactly can be better. And then I'm gonna show a demo of the product, how this product can actually help you do that. So yeah, 2 parts.
Awesome, awesome. So then why don't you share your screen and let's get started with today's webinar.
All right. So, all right.
Yep, we can
So,
see your screen.
yeah, basically, I already told you the deeper why, but to better explain my experience with the meetings and co-working sessions, I'd like to share a little story. It happened maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I was working at the Skype at the time, and we were having a development meeting with the team, and a couple of developers were arguing about some kind of data structure thing, or like very relatively boring to me at the time. And I was looking at my manager, and I felt like something weird is going on. And at the same time, he was looking at me, and suddenly he looked at me like with a very weird look. And I realized that I had fallen asleep, my eyes open. It was like so boring to me. So
Is that true?
yeah, it's absolutely true. we commented it later on. I even dreamed a little bit, so I
Oh
remember
my
a
goodness.
specific dream that, but I never closed my eyes, so it's really weird. And I've seen like hundreds of meetings like this where people just come together, talk about some stuff, and it doesn't go anywhere. And when you leave the meeting, you feel more exhausted than you were in the beginning. And it's like I prepared this comic strip. I think you've all seen Dilbert, and you know Dilbert, but this one particular is really funny about the meetings. And the sad part is that even though they are like making fun of this, this is not a joke. Like, so many meetings are this bad. And where do I know about this stuff? Is because Doodle, you know, definitely Doodle, the big session booking company, they made quite recently a survey, since millions of meetings go through them every year. And they made a survey, and they interviewed 6,500 professionals in UK, Germany, and USA. And they also analyzed more than 90 million meetings. And this was all done during 1 year. And what they realized was that the quality of the meetings is absolutely horrible. And what the main 2 findings was that professionals spend at least 2 hours every week in utterly pointless meetings. And this is like, I think the number is even bigger, because we need to really define what's the pointless meeting and what is like a good meeting. But even this number says that there is 541 billion worth of resource lost every year due to people just sitting in offices and doing nothing, basically, because of the bad meetings. And the other part, this is like a business, from a business perspective, like we're losing money, all right? But the other part is, what do these people feel, the participants? I mean, you go to work, and then you have to take part in these kind of sessions. And currently it's even worse because of the remote work, because of the corona situation and everything going on online. I know people, like managers, leaders, spending hours and hours on meetings behind the computer, and it's just wastes energy and creativity and everything. And the other finding is what people felt themselves. More than a third of the people answered thought that this is like the biggest cost to their organization, and this is like this is something that needs to be evolved. And one of the greatest thing that can help the quality of the meeting is preparation. How do you really prepare for it? Most managers that we've done a lot of interviews, we've done a lot of research about this, and most managers spend like 5 or 10 minutes for the preparation. And you get like 5 to 10 people in a room, you take their time, their energy, and you spend just 5 minutes. But this is like understandable. We are so packed, we're always doing stuff, and you literally don't have more time. And this is one thing that we are trying to help with, because even if you have so little time to prepare, with our tool, you can improve the planning even if you have 5 or 10 minutes. But more of that later. Here are some great numbers as well. Why do people think that meetings, what is like the consequence of the poorly organized meetings? What do we lose? And people feel that they want to do like real work. People don't consider meetings as real work. They consider it like a waste of time. And here is like the final statement from the Doodle CEO, that if you're really not doing anything to improve these meetings that you have, then the loss of money and potential is like insane. And I would like to bring a different perspective here as well, that one thing is loss of money when people are doing nothing. But if you think that people who attend these kind of meetings, they are uninspired, unmotivated, and if you could turn this thing around, imagine where people are doing something like that they are absolutely fascinated about, they are like really loving the experience, then imagine what kind of cool and innovative ideas could come out of this. And that is the loss of that potential is even bigger. But you cannot measure that because you don't know what you lost, because it wasn't really there. So what is a good meeting? For that, I'll tell you another story. As a mentor and workshop facilitator, I had a chance to do a 1-hour session on a conference which was organized by a big organization called World Cleanup Day. I don't know if you've heard of it. It started from Estonia, but it's basically an international organization that cleans up the planet. They have millions and millions of participants, and they're really, really awesome. And they were having a conference, and they wanted to brainstorm some ideas how data could help clean up the planet. So they invited me as a session runner or a facilitator there, and we had 50 people attending, and we had 1 hour. So this is like, if you imagine a meeting where there would be 50 people and you would have 1 hour, would you think that you would get something out of this meeting? Probably you would get a lot of just talk about stuff.
I can only imagine chaos. Everyone's trying to get their chance to speak, maybe, or
Yeah, and conversations going every which way and like crazy. But there are some specific methods how you can create a lot of value with this kind of time and with this kind of people. So what we did, we first we took some 5 minutes to set the goal of the session. So everybody understood that this is to brainstorm some ideas how data could help. Then we spread people up into teams, like there were 5 teams, so 10 people in one team. And then everybody got a chance to think silently, maybe 5 to 7 minutes, I don't remember exactly. They put down their ideas, so there was no discussion, nothing. You could just think quietly for yourself. Then we had 10 to 15 minutes to discuss in a group. Everybody was sharing their ideas, and they were putting these ideas on a canvas that was in between the whole circle. And then they got some time to vote which of the ideas they think are the best, if they had heard all the ideas. That took maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And finally, we did a round where every group got a chance, like maybe 3 minutes, to pitch their 1 or 2 best ideas. And then we put all these on a whiteboard so everybody could see those, and 1 hour was over. And after this 1 hour, we collected all the data that was on the papers. We got a lot of information. We got their understanding what is good in terms of their understanding, and everything was organized, everything was like neat and tidy, and we got where we wanted to go. And that was 50 people, and that was 1 hour. So what I just described is like a design thinking workshop that has basically 3 main things that is a little bit different than a regular meeting. So I will skip that slide for a second. So first one, we had a good time box plan. I knew exactly what was going on in each minute. People knew exactly what they were supposed to do. We didn't run over anything. And that's why we were able to keep the agenda and get to the place we wanted to go. We had the methods, which I described, how we did it. So we had a specific method, not just let's come together and talk about it, but we had like a specific plan, specific method, how to get stuff out from people, get it organized, get it decided. And finally, I was there. I was in the role of a facilitator in terms of I was taking the time and energy to keep to this agenda and to keep to this method. There were definitely places where people started going off topic and wanted to do something else. But since I had planned everything, I knew exactly what was supposed to happening. It was quite easy for me to just keep the group on a topic that we were doing, on the exercise that we were doing. And this basically, in very short, is the thing that Flows helps you to do. Helps you build a really good time box plan using some really good methods used by some of the top facilitators in the world, and to integrate these into your meetings. And then finally, it helps you just to keep focus, stick to this agenda that you just built. And I'll share one method, what I mean by method. So let's imagine that, well, basically it's the same method that I explained with this World Cleanup Day workshop. So what we did, we got first a lot of ideas out, and then we put them back together. So imagine you are having a meeting where there are a lot of people with a lot of different opinions, and you need to reach a decision. When you just go with a discussion thing, it goes crazy really fast. But this method that I'm showing right now helps you get the info out and then decide in a very neat manner. And it consists of 5 steps. So first, you allow people to think for a while. Doesn't have to be long, but they get the chance to just get down their ideas. Especially, this is important for the quiet ones. Then you let people work in either groups or pairs to share these ideas amongst each other, and basically create new ideas out of these discussions. Again, very limited, and when you keep these groups very small, then you don't have the danger of getting the discussion all over the place. Finally, these groups can share to the whole group. Let's say we have 10 people in the room. Now all 10 people can know what these small groups were talking about. Then you can group the similar ideas into these clusters of ideas. And finally, you can let the whole group vote which of the clusters, which of the ideas is best, which either is a final decision or something that we can go into a bigger detailed investigation whether it's a good idea or not. But with this kind of method, you get everyone's opinion, you get the consensus of the group later on, and you don't drift away into endless conversations that probably end up somewhere totally different than you needed. And this is just one of the methods. We have lots of them for every occasion that you might need in the meeting. And this is basically it. This is what the product does. So this is basically the end of the first part. And now I would like to demo when there is nothing else happening.
Awesome. So the story which you told about the 50 people, I was like curious, like how can this be even organized and be done within 1 hour? But the way you organized it, that's something I'm hearing for the very first time. And I'm probably going to, look back at the replay and take notes about it, because we'll soon be doing offline events, and this really helps. And I'm sure there are many tricks like this that master facilitators use from across the world to facilitate such productive meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, if you have any more questions regarding having a productive meeting, especially with larger audience, you can leave them down in the comment section down below. And before we proceed with the webinar, we will read out all the questions that you have about meeting. A user asks, can this be done for online meetings as well?
Yes, it is both online meetings, offline meetings, and hybrid meetings, which are very popular right now. So some people online and some people present.
Wow.
It's a little bit more complicated with online, but with flows, it doesn't really matter.
And that's why we are here in this webinar to discuss, to show the power of flows. So, Vaiko, let's present the screen because there are no more comments to answer.
All right. So I will share screen one more time.
Sure.
All right. Do you see it?
Yes, absolutely. So PitchGrounders, when you purchase flows, you can go log in, and this will be the login screen that you are presented with.
Yes. So let's jump straight to it. I will log in with my personal account. And I end up in the main screen where all my sessions, meetings, workshops, whatever you call them, are listed. These are the upcoming sessions, and I can also show the past ones as well when I need to access something. There is not much to be done here. When you are ready to plan a meeting, then you just create a session, you name it. Let's imagine an imaginary situation. Let's say that we have a product, and as it turns out that from customer service, a lot of people are complaining about one particular area of the product. And now we need to brainstorm some ideas how to solve this problem. And let's say we have gathered like a product team and some advisors, and maybe let's say about 8 people to really brainstorm about this. So I'll just give it a name, like product feature brainstorm, for example. Then you choose when it is supposed to happen. You choose a starting time and end time, and you go straight into the session. Now you're in the planner. This is the main tool that you're going to use, and the planning consists the whole experience of planning and facilitating consists of 4 steps that are here, and I'll go through each of the steps one by one. So the first step is the foundation. This is where you set the foundation, basically, of the session. Like here you can write down what is the purpose or the main goal or the main objective of this session. And for us, it would be to sync our understandings of our users' problem and brainstorm possible solutions to it. Here I can set some instructions for the beginning of the session, but I'll come back to it later. When you know where these go, it makes more sense. But this one is really important, so people, both during the planning and during the session, so people, you can, as a facilitator, always come back to it. Why are we really doing this? And is this what we are right now doing, or is this what I am planning right now? Is this the best way of addressing the why that we wrote here? So then we go to the next step. Before I go to the next step, this part here is in the roadmap. There are a lot of different features planned for this step, which will help you get better understanding as well of the purpose. Right now, it sort of assumes that you know it, but there are different methods and tools how to get better clarity from yourself and from the team, and this will be included here quite near in the future. So once you have that set, you go to the next planning phase, either from this button or you can access it here as well. Now we are going to the agenda itself. There are 2 ways how to build an agenda. We have built 2 session templates for 2 different scenarios, and I will show you these a bit later. But the third option is to build the whole agenda from scratch yourself. And to demo the functionality of the software, then it would be best to start with this empty session. And so I'll choose that. And here you have the agenda. And the way good facilitators plan the agenda is you have different objectives that you need to reach during the session. And we call each of these agenda parts blocks. So whether you want to get some information out of people, or you need to reach a decision, or you need to investigate something, each of these are different parts of your session. And here you basically map out the journey, how you go through the experience. And for that, we have a helper as well. So if you start building the agenda, then here are 9 different reasons. What would you like to accomplish with this particular block? Whether it be explaining the session goal of the session to people, or you want to create some ideas or to reach a decision. There are very different things that you are doing during the meeting. Very often people don't realize that just getting together and talking about stuff, you still have some different steps that you need to go through. And this is a great helper that lets you really go through your head whether I need to do that or whether I need to do that, based on what's the main purpose of this. So if we remember our scenario right now, which was the new feature ideation for a problem that came out from the customer service, then let's design quickly a session. So first, I usually like to do a warm-up, because people come together from different places. You need to get them on the same wavelength, so to speak. So let's do that first. Then I would like to explain the goal. Why have we come together? So that everybody would be on the same page. Then I would like to frame the problem that we are currently starting to solve. This is basically the challenge of the problem that this meeting is addressing, so that everybody would know exactly what's the problem. There is a talk that something came out from the customer service, but what is it exactly? And to basically set the focus. Then we create some new ideas or solutions to solve that problem. Finally, we evaluate these ideas, prioritize, evaluate, and finally, we reach a decision. Since our session is quite short, then there is no need for a break, but there is definitely a very strong need for a break when it's a longer session. And now I can name these blocks for my participants, so they would know as well what we are doing. So let's warm up. What's the goal? Then let's sync the problem from customer service. Then let's brainstorm some solutions. What are the best ones? And then final decision, which one will we use? So now we have a very rough agenda, and we can now do a really quick time boxing of how much time are we going to spend on these, because this is a lot of ground to cover and we only have 60 minutes that is shown here. So we can set the time here, how much should we spend some time for each block. So now let's say we do the warm-up with 3 minutes. What's the goal? Maybe 5 minutes. And you see the time is getting shorter and shorter, what is still available for the session. So you know exactly how many free minutes you have. So let's sync the problem, maybe 10 minutes, then brainstorm 20 minutes. What are the best ones? 10 minutes, reach a decision, 7 minutes. And let's leave 5 minutes as a backup. Someone calls or something.
Guys, this is how you actually plan your meetings minute by minute so that they go productive. I seriously wish we all did this beforehand. We would save so much time and we would have had so many productive meetings. So guys, if you're watching this right now, you're really lucky, because from now on, you're going to have productive meetings.
All right, and you can start after this session is over. So you can build your own meeting very soon. All right. So basically, you could stop here and go with this, and you would already be far better off than most of the meetings out there. And how much time did it take for me? If I'm a manager running from meeting to meeting and I have 5 minutes, I have time for this. Respect. It's a good idea to respect the time of others and energy. They come to the meeting, they spend some time. So if I am the facilitator or runner of the meeting, then at least this amount of planning, I think is cool idea to do. But with flows, you can go even deeper, especially when you have longer meetings or longer sessions where you need to cover much more ground. So then now we go to the detailed activity plan. That is the next part. And this is where it gets a bit more complicated, but still not very when you are used to this stuff. So now basically you can break up all these blocks into specific actions, what to do during this block. And I will show you example in a template way. So for each of these blocks that we have, break the ice, warm up, explain the goal of the session, frame the challenge, we have some small templates that you could use, how to do warm up, how to explain the goal. And you might think, how would you explain the goal? You just tell what the goal is. Well, there are different methods even for this simple thing. So let's maybe start with that. To use a template, you just open our template browser and it immediately ends up in the right category. And here we have, for this part, we have two specific methods. One is the traditional way. You just explain the goal, but the other one is a little bit cooler, but I'll show you that in a minute. Let's use this traditional way. So you explain the goal. I will add this to my block. And now you see there are two parts. There is the goal of the session, where I, facilitator, or the runner of the or the owner of the meeting who ordered it, basically explains what's the goal, and then we have a 2-minute Q&A about it. So that did everybody understand? And here you can really track time. If we planned 5 minutes, then you cannot talk about the goal for 5 minutes and let's just run over. You can track 2 minutes and 2 minutes, and you're set with 5 minutes. Because remember, we have only 60 minutes. If you run over 5, then you're already lost. So, but let's see the other template. You can change the template here. So the other template is a little bit different. Here, you basically let everyone else explain what the goal is. So everybody gets a chance to think for 1 minute that why are we here? And then everybody can share one by one what is what's the goal. And in my experience, when everybody shares, then there are some specific nuances that come out, that people see things differently. And when you, as a facilitator, list these down and merge it into one block, or one block, but one specific goal, then you get much more richer understanding of what's the goal. And this is just one of the methods. And this way, we can populate all these. Let's warm up. We have 6 different warm-up exercises with different times. I really like the crazy product pitch. Let's use that one. So crazy product pitch means basically that everybody gets one crazy idea. We have here egg-flavored toothpaste, for example, or invisible keys, or burning newspaper. And everybody gets one idea, and then they need to put together a pitch, like a sales pitch. Why would a person need this thing, egg-flavored toothpaste? And then everybody can present their pitch, and it's really fun and increases creativity, and you get started from a very positive note with the meeting. And then this way we can go through the whole thing, populating it with different methods. And I will not do it all because it takes too much time. But yeah, let's use that one.
Guys, you get all these templates within the app. So you need not worry whether to find templates, etc., because everything that you need to plan your meetings is available as a form of a template in the app itself.
Yes, and we will be adding these in the future, and you can later on build your own, even if you have some method that you really want to use each time you start some specific meeting, then you can save that as your own block template and reuse it. That makes it even faster for you to plan in the future. And here you see a very interesting thing happened. This block turned red. So the similar way as it was in the main agenda, this time box is measured. So if I planned 20 minutes for the brainstorm and now I use template that is longer, then I see that it isn't enough time. So now I need to adjust maybe some things. Maybe this template is not the best. Maybe let's use a regular classic brainstorm. And instead of 75 minutes, we brainstorm for 15 minutes. Still have something left. So maybe we don't do the warm-up and we don't count the ideas. Or maybe 20 minutes for a classical brainstorm is too much. Let's clear up everything and let's create just our own. So everybody shares their ideas. Oh yeah, they need to think about it as well. Everybody thinks. Should happen like up there. Okay, for some reason this one doesn't move right now. Maybe I need to refresh it, but you get the idea. Basically, you can build your own activities here, some more activity. And you can now plan like 5 minutes for that, 10 minutes for that, and 3 minutes, and you are in the plan. Okay, now let's go to the final part. So let's say I have the whole thing planned out, whether I did it this way, that I have like a brief agenda, or I went very detailed, or maybe I went very detailed with some, but I have the agenda. So hypothetically, you could stop here and use this agenda and go and facilitate it. But we have a specific tool to help you facilitate it better as well. And for that, we open the facilitation part. And I start with step 2, because step 1 is optional, but highly recommended. So step 2 is basically a facilitation dashboard. So if I go back here, this one is very cluttered to be used during the meeting, because there you have to concentrate on different things. And you have to also switch between different windows. So maybe you have another like Google Docs or Jira or something open, and you need to look at that. So you need to shift between different windows. So for that, we built a facilitator dashboard that, let me just, yeah, let me, okay. I will hide that one so it will be easier to see. So this is something that you can open during the session, and you have the whole plan that you did in front of you. So you can stick to the agenda, you know where you are, you know what time you need to start with the next one. You can mark things done when things are done, and you see a like it's progress bar, how far you are with the thing. And this you can use during the meeting. And here you have a lot of space, like desktop real estate for other apps you need to use during the meeting. You can keep this in front of you the whole time. And it makes it so much easier for you to stick to the agenda as a facilitator. But now, if we come back here, there was the first step. And the first step in here is meant for participants. So not only we built the dashboard for the facilitator, we also have a dashboard for the participants as well. And that you can access through a special link. You can copy the link and send this link to all the participants. Now, let's open this link in a separate browser. And here the participant is taken into like an entry screen where they see what was the goal of the session. And later on, one thing that is planned for this product is like a dynamic agenda which will appear here so people can see what's the agenda before they enter. And now when they open the dashboard, then another dashboard opens. And this looks a lot simpler than the other one. I will put it here for you to see. So you as a facilitator don't have to keep them both open. This is for participants and this is for you, the facilitator. So now you can control, once you control things here, people will see where you are with the session. And this is really good because people tend to forget what are we doing at the moment. Somebody gets an idea, conversation goes somewhere, and before you know it, you are doing something else. With this, you can always keep the whole group to stick to the agenda. So when I mark some activity active, split to pairs or groups, I can do it here. Then now, all the participants see that this is what we are doing. We are warming up. And here is the thing that we need to do right now. This is like, we need to split the pairs or groups. And when people start arguing, then it is always in front of them. What is the exercise right now? Or let's put together a pitch. So now there is like a explanation, prepare a maximum 1 minute pitch, try to be as convincing and selling as possible. So when people are thinking, then they don't need to ask you all the time, like, what are we supposed to do right now? You have this in front of them. And when you mark things done, then things get done in their dashboard as well. So, and progress, they see progress, and it's really motivating to see that you're moving closer to the goal. And final feature that you can use, very convenient, is if you mark some thing active, people start doing it, then when we put some time box to it, like everyone shares one by one, and we have 5 minutes for that, since we need to stick to agenda, then I can load a timer, which is automatically with the amount of time that you set, and you can start the timer for everybody in the session. So this is all synced. So if you have a remote meeting, people all over the place, everybody is seeing this thing in their computer. And when you start the timer, then everybody sees the timer. And when it's done, it gives a gentle cling, and everybody knows that the time is up. You don't need to start shouting at them. But when they finish early, you can also stop the timer. And this way you go through the meeting until everything is done and everybody is happy. There are some more features, but since we are running out of time, then I will not go through them. This is like a surprise for you if you go and explore the product.
That's when you get the lifetime deal. So essentially, Flows is bringing the facilitator and the participants in sync, and it's giving minute by minute updates so as to, what's the actual agenda of the meeting, what do we need to plan, and what do we actually do at that particular moment of time.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's very powerful. Guys, with Flows, you can never fail your meeting because it's keeping everyone on their toes. Nobody is just slacking off. Everyone's like into the meeting, planning, doing stuff, and getting things done. And that's what Flows lets you do. if you are having an online or offline meeting. So we have questions, and the Facebook user says, but I guess you need time to present each step also, and physically it takes time to get people back to their seats, etc. Any tips?
Two separate questions. Well, the first question, this is definitely something that you need to plan as well. This is one of the activities you put under the block. So the time to present each step. So you figure out how much you need, you put it in the agenda, and this way you know that you will not run over with the time. And the second question was time to get people back to their seats.
To their seats. I think it's after the break or something.
Yeah. Well, this is something that probably software cannot help that much. You can send them some signals with our sounds or stuff, but I would use in an online meeting. In physical meeting, it's quite easy. You just have to just call people back, and I like to use some kind of like a bell that you can just ping, and people know that now it's time to come back. Yes. But with online meetings, it's a little bit more complicated. But here again, you can plan a break, which was one of the block types. Absolutely. And you can assign some time to it, 5 minutes. And then you set the timer so every participant sees on their screen that 5 minutes is ticking. They can check and they know that something is ticking somewhere. So it's more like an intellectual thing that, okay, now we need to really come back. And yes,
so
exactly.
Right now, we are on the Flows lifetime deal page, and the page has just gone live. I hope you can see the screen.
Yes, I can, at least.
Yes, it just gone live within like 2 seconds before. And this is the plan that you're getting with Flows. You also have the main plan, which is at $59 lifetime, and you have an add-on plan as well. So the product link would be in your comment section down below. You can go through it. And in the meantime, if you have any more questions regarding how to use Flows or how to manage your meetings more effectively, you can leave them in the comment section down below, and Vaiko will answer all your questions. So this is the plan, and I'm going to leave the link in the comment section down below.
Okay.
Yes.
So we had another question as well.
Yes, it is. I think it was before you actually presented the whole second part of the Flows app. The user asked how to do this in reality without stressing the hell out of the participants.
That is a really good question.
Yes.
Yeah, there needs to be like a balance between strictly like this German military time box thing and going with the flow. So you can really sense how ready people are. Who are your people that are coming? How much time do you have? Are they ready to just go at it and just storm through it? Or should it be a little bit more softer version? So this is everything that you can plan. You don't need to put 2 minutes into activities time box. You can put 5 minutes to make it much like what's the good word? A softer version. Like people talk and then 5 minutes is over, and you don't always have to show the timer to people. You just know that you have approximately set 5 minutes, but if 1 minute goes over, then you know that the next thing should be a little bit shorter. So this is what you can just dynamically change during the session or while you're planning. But this doesn't mean that you have to be like this straight or strict all the time. It just gives you a clarity of and understanding of reality. We have 1 hour, we have all these topics that we need to cover. Do we really get through them? Some users have said that one of the realizations that they've had after started using flows is that how much stuff they really try to stuff into meetings. And if you really start going through it, then you realize that it is not possible to do it all with this short amount of time. So usually people don't think that much through, and then it just ends up somewhere, but you never know where.
Yep, and that's with unplanned meetings.
Yes, exactly.
So guys, if you have any more questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below and we will answer all your questions. And flows, all the questions regarding meetings, regarding planning your meetings better, etc. And for the record, we have so many webinars planned ahead. So we are not going anywhere. We have many webinars that are coming up in the next coming days, weeks, and we are here to help you plan your meeting better. And that's one thing what the lockdown has taught us, especially when we are separated like this with physical boundaries, is that meetings are unproductive. We have to accept that, but once we accept that, we can bring change to it. We can bring order to the chaos, and flows lets you exactly do that to your meetings. So meetings should be fun, they should be productive, they should be smartly planned instead of often like often how do meetings turn out? They are unproductive, sometimes boring. As Vaiko said, he was sleeping with his eyes open in the start, and that's how meetings are currently. And we at PitchGround decided that, hey, we have to do something, and we found flows, and we just got into this partnership. This is amazing. And that's why flows is currently on a lifetime deal, guys. And what I want you to do right now, get in your cards out and grab flows right now. Plan your meetings. I want you to at least plan 3 or 5 meetings using flows. And if this feels so strict to you, you can always refund, because we have a 60-day refund policy. You can try it out and let us know. But we are sure that we will make your meetings productive. We have more webinars coming up to improve your meeting flows, and also that rhymed, by the way. So and also you get to reach out to us anytime during the deal or even after the deal. Team PitchGround, Team Flows is always here to solve any of your queries. So there's no, this is an offer, guys. Don't wait for the deal to get over and pay the subscription. Instead, you can grab it on a lifetime deal and make your meetings more productive. So I guess there are no more questions. And what you just watched is the launch webinar of Flows. The replay would be present on our Facebook page, on our Facebook group, and on our YouTube channel as well. That's PitchGround. And if you have any more questions after the meeting, or if you're watching this during a replay, feel free to tag me, feel free to tag Vaiko. We will answer all your questions regarding the lifetime deal, regarding planning meetings productively, etc. I, however, recommend checking the replay again, because the idea loop method, which we discussed during the start, is such a powerful method that can change your meetings. So for those who have tuned in right now, till now, thank you so much. The clock exactly is hitting 59 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. And I've been noticing, I've been more mindful of my time after this. I hope you get mindful of your meetings after this webinar as well. Thank you so much for attending the launch webinar of Flows. See you later in the upcoming webinars that we have planned with Flows. Don't forget to check out the events page on our Facebook, where we'll be constantly updating all the events that are coming up with flows. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great evening. Bye bye.
Bye.
And the broadcast is taking some time to end. This is not. This was not a part of the agenda.